the title that Microsoft gave me at the beginning was, how can AI help people with disability? And but I changed that to, can AI help people with disability? The reason is that everybody is talking about AI, uh, and in my view, it's been overrated, and people with disabilities are having too high hopes that uh, their world will come and everything will be, done. And so I said, that's not uh, a good way. We have to make sure you engineers make it right for us. So I changed the, we should not accept the fact that AI will make people automatically accept the fact that AI will make our lives better, but we have to make sure engineers do that. So I changed the title to, can AI help people with disability? Because everybody asked me, will AI really help with people with disability? And for instance, in Korea, there was a big hype about stem cell. And when stem cell research was announced, many people thought this would cure everybody. And I know that if you ask any engineer in Korea doing robotics, they would say, oh, why are you building a robot? And oh, it will help people with disability. So in a way, disability is used as to develop technology. That's all right. But as long as uh, it is delivered, until I tell people, until you see it delivered, don't put too much hope in it. You know, I'm not saying that in negative way, but that we don't. I mean, yeah, we make sure that horse is before the carriage. You don't want the the carriage to go in front of the horse. So that's what I want to say to engineers, that well, you can make argument that this will help people with disability, but uh, I really expect you to really make change. Yeah. Are they uh, getting ready yet?
Check with her. Yes, they're doing something. They're just trying to add the mic code.
Okay. Um,
You say AI, do you mean like AI in electronics or just like Gen AI like everyone is talking about?
uh, let me tell you this. Let's see.
So Davika, it's ready? Or
물좀 줘봐봐.
okay, good. Professor
Okay, let me.
Sangmook, yeah, you can you can start now. That's
Okay,
perfect.
I'll get to your question. Okay. Well, I did not prepare slide for this event because nobody asked me to prepare. So to introduce myself, I'm using the slide that I made recently in another event. Okay, 이게 왜 넘어가지? Why is it going? Okay, it shouldn't. 이거 뒤로 가야 되는데. It's
Can
going
somebody
forward.
help? Yes.
Uh, Okay, I'll just use this then. My name is Sang Mook Lee, and this is my email. So I heard that most of you are here MVP. So I have a lot of problem with computer software. Maybe I can ask you later to solve some of the issues. Okay. I'm a professor at Seoul National University, which is the best university in Korea. And because it's the best university in Korea, everyone in Korea calls me Stephen Hawking of Korea. Even though, as you know, our symptoms are really different. He has his symptom and my symptom are different. In Korea, they call me by the name. So much so that I tell my English friend that we have to call him Stephen Hawking of England to make sure people do not get confused. Okay, as a joke. And as you can see, I'm an earth scientist. I study very deep structure of the earth. I study something like the origin of earth, how earth moves. So what I do has no practical application at all. Okay, so it's just very pure basic science. So I don't think what I do is really useful for the society yet, okay, other than training people. In 2006, this is what happened to me when I took our students for a geological field trip in California. Okay, the van that I was driving rolled over and somebody took this picture while I'm still dangling upside down in the van. Okay, the roof of the van collapsed and my neck got broken. So what happened is that uh, there is something called spinal cord. We have a spine which is made of 26, 28 bones, and inside that there is a spinal cord which is like size of your pinky finger, and that connects your brain to rest of your body. And for me, that got completely severed. So in the IT world, the damage that the injury that I sustained is called network problem. My head does not, I have problem networking with my body. So in a way, it's there is a big important fiber optic connection that's going from my brain to my body, but that's severed. So I cannot move anything beyond my shoulder. And yet, I found out that we can live despite this. Because when you eat, your stomach digests without asking order from the head. You breathe, your heart beats, and everything. So, gosh, it's amazing, every all your organs, the important things, they do it on their own, self-governed. It's not centralized. So I'm able to function and breathe, digest, almost everything. Except I have some problem controlling the blood pressure or the body temperature. Some problem, but I can get around with that. So first, I thought this was end of my life. This happened in 2006 at age 44. That was when I was age 44. When you reach mid 40, you know what your rest of you know what your rest of your life is going to be like. You just have an idea. I played golf, but I knew I wasn't gonna be good as Tiger Woods. I did many things, so what lies ahead, basically. And I thought I was going to have a very sad life. But once I found out that I can use computer, as you can see with this red device, can you see I'm moving the cursor? And then here I can sip and puff, which simulates left and right click. And so I knew that I can get back to work right away. Okay. So my life would have been just lying in the bed watching television at home, but I live a very active life. I teach, I do research, I do everything that a professor should do. And for instance, I travel around the world on average 10 times a year. Of course, whenever I travel, I travel with 2 caregivers. So, I realized how lucky I am after I got injured. This injury could have been different, but I realized that I did not lose the vital parts. It's like a garage sale. When you do garage sale in the United States, you throw away and sell the parts that you seldom use. You don't really sell out the vital parts. So in a way, I'm very fortunate. Because nowadays with computer, that's the most important thing. And I said to people, computer must be God's gift to people with disability. Okay. And then and in 2008, 6, 7, 8, that's the time that you had Microsoft Vista operating system. Everyone in Korea hated Vista. I was the only one in Korea praising Vista because it has, for the first time, speech recognition software that was bundled together with Microsoft operating system. So I said, oh, Vista is great. And I can, all other minor things are excused, but so all the MVPs in Korea hated me because they wanted to complain to Microsoft, but I was the only one praising Microsoft Vista at that time. It's irony. Okay. So much so that when top people from Microsoft came to Korea, they put me on the stage. Okay. Okay. So in 2008, I received a big money from Korean government because I became very famous. I tell people that everybody in Korea knows me But that's not true. My friend really did a survey and he found out that 30% of the people know who I am. Okay. Anyway, okay, that's and at that time we did a why is it like this? Okay. 물 좀 주시겠어요? I need water in the middle because my saliva does not come up when I talk. But these are small, minor difficulties. So I was able to run a big project in Korea because Korean government saw hope in me. I became the reason I became very famous in Korea is that this accident happened in California. Okay, not in Korea. I found out that the medical cost in United States is 15 times higher than in South Korea. One day at the emergency intensive care unit was $22,000, basically $1,000 per hour. So I had to get out of the hospital as quickly as I can. If my accident happened in Korea, I will still be in hospital. I would not have the incentive, courage to come out. But because it happened in United States, I tried to come out of the hospital as fast as I can. And it took 3 months. Then I returned back to Korea and went to work. And so it was not my determination or will, but it was economic reason. But in Korea, they took it differently. They thought I was special. I was really courageous, you know. So being right place at the right time really matters. So I caught an imagination of Korean people because Korean people are used to the Stephen Hawking of England. And when they saw me, they said, oh, this guy must be the real Stephen Hawking. So with that came a lot of opportunity. When you are exposed in the media, a lot of things come to you for free. At that time, Korean government gave me 10 million US dollars every year to do something about disability. And this was a very important time because around 2010 and 2012, this was the time when SNS, cell phones were coming online. So we realized that the computer, especially including cell phone and these things, are the most important thing for people with disability. For instance, if you ask a blind person, what is the biggest game changer? He or she, without hesitation, will reply, texting. Okay? Because they can now text among themselves and communicate. And for instance, a blind person ready to leave home, set up, leave home, would not know whether he has turned off the gas or not. He can take a picture and ask his friend, is this on or off? So, cell phone, which is basically a computer, can be ear, eyes, or mouth, plus brain connected to big cloud for people with disability. So I think what you are doing is in the right direction. But what I found out over the years, when government gave me such a big money, I tried to help people with disability. But what I realized is that just a good heart is not enough. Many people set up social enterprise and things, try to help with disability, people with disability. But I found out that many things that I use for granted were developed by very good engineers, not for people with disability. If you make a good product, that will help people with disability. On the other hand, many people who is just motivated to help with disability do not have the necessary skills or knowledge to develop that. So ironically, if somebody without background would come to me and say, I want to help people with disability, I say, don't. You know, it's irony. I mean, so I think the most important thing is computer knowledge and skill, having the right knowledge, education, skill, and then having the kind heart to people with disability. I think, I mean, if you ask me, I would say I like, I don't, I mean, if you ask me to choose, I would choose a good programmer over a good programmer with kind heart. So when I ask people here, are you all MVP? I think you're on the right track. Okay. So that's about myself, and I think I can entertain questions about um uh that you might have, because this is about how, I mean, can AI help people with disability? Anybody? Okay. Then I'll tell you another secret. Well, this was me before my accident. So I know there are people in Delhi joining, and I tell people I'm not really a person with disability because um, my disability, I was not born with disability. So my disability was caused by accident in midlife. Okay. So my situation is much, much better than many people. Before my injury, I was educated at the best school in Korea. I got my PhD at MIT. I became the professor at the best university. So for me, disability was not a big issue. So in Korea, uh, people tell me uh, we have to make people born with disability like him. So I become a benchmark for other people with disability in Korea, because they realized this person is highly educated and therefore he has a decent job. So his life is not so bad. Actually, it's better than before he got injured. You know, he got famous and he gets away with everything. Every time there is a election, my name is I mean always referred to as a possible candidate. And so I get away with so many things that Korean people say he's an exception. You know, uh, for him, disability does not matter because when you are highly educated and have a job, disability is just a nuisance. But what we have to do is for real disabled person born and so that has been the direction of Korean disabled community. They use me as uh, a successful example so that they want to make other people like me. And this is a picture before my accident when I took Korean students to California for a joint field trip with Caltech. Um, and uh, I tell you one secret because 6 years later, I went to the site and it was a very straight, plain road. And there were 7 vans driving in caravan. So my van was second from the last. So the vans in front of us kicked up dust and probably the visibility was bad and the van behind me clipped me and that's how accident happened. Uh, right after the accident, I was conscious for maybe few minutes, then I lost conscious. I was out. But people say that even though you are unconscious, your ears are open. So what happened is that I was dreaming and imagining what's happening around me by the sound that I was hearing. Okay. So, yeah, this is a known fact. And I woke at that time, being America, United States, emergency helicopter came within 40 minutes, 50 minutes, picked me up and dropped me off at a trauma center. That's how I survived. But I could hear what the doctors were saying around me. And they were saying that this guy has no hope. What are the chances? And should we operate on him or not? I heard that. So in a way, I knew I was going to die. Okay, based on people's doctors saying around me, my mind, in my mind, I was already imagining myself as, is this it? You know, I have fallen in difficult situation, but this is really it. No, Sang-mook, you have no way of getting out in this one. So, I had no choice but to accept the fact that I was going to die. And I had a very beautiful dream. Okay. Uh, I had what's called near death experience. And it was not bad. Okay. Oh, first, I would like to say that don't try this at home. Okay. It wasn't bad. So it was very peaceful, and somehow everything flowed naturally, and I accepted the fact that I was going to die. And 3 days later, after 3 dreams, I woke up. And I thought uh, I was going to die, but I got to live. And so, and after this dreams and near-death experience, I changed. To this day, I had no psychological problem. I never cried. Uh, uh, I became a very strong person. Okay. And my, I think my character changed. You know, as a human being, mm, the biggest question is, I think, related with that. This is a question did we uh, try not to raise and not even to talk about it. But um, I had a very pleasant death experience. And I try not to uh, say this too much because people will think that I'm lunatic. But to my friends, I would tell them what I saw and what I felt. But then, many years ago, I came across this book by an English writer named Sarah Bakewell. She wrote a book about how to live, Life of Montaigne. As you know, Montaigne is a French philosopher writer. He invented a new literary form called essay. And apparently, according to this book, Montaigne was also very curious about death as a young man. And age 37, he fell from a horse and was unconscious, became unconscious like me. But the near-death experience was so good, and he found, I mean, prior to this accident, as I mentioned, he was curious about death, but he got his answer. Uh, After he fell from the horse, he was unconscious. And later, half day later, he woke up and told how pleasant this death was, how not scary. But his friends and servants told him, no, no, you were screaming and spewing blood and tearing your own clothes. You were in agony. So Montaigne realized that death may look awful from outside, but there can be an inner peace. So even though it looks miserable and scary, that there is an inner peace. And then after that realization, Montaigne gave up all his public duties and start writing, and he wrote uh, about the things that he basically did not have to worry about death. He said, what I have to worry about is just living, because I know what death is like. it's not so bad. And so I can now put that aside and just enjoy living. And so he stepped down from all the public political positions and confined himself to his chateau and start writing. And before Montaigne, when you wrote something, there was a purpose, but he just wrote about his daily day-to-day things, and that became essay. Essay, many people say that it's a modern form of Facebook. Okay, you write about things, you write about what you ate, you take pictures, and like that. And but I've been told not everybody's death experience are the same. Everybody is different. But I was very glad to meet Montaigne because we were separated by 420 years of time. But when I read his essay and what Sarah Bakewell wrote about it, I felt that this guy and I have something very common. You know, how glad you are. Again, don't try this at home. Okay, I just want to tell you that I'm not praising that death is good, but even when you are at the bottom of your life, life has unexpected twists and turns. You never know. That's what I want to say. So for me, uh, I became, I have no worries uh, because I know what most people dread is not something one should dread, at least for me. So I'm unstoppable. And many people in Korea profiled me psychologically. And one of my doctor friend wrote that the reason I have no fear or no apprehension or because I'm so mentally strong is because he argued that during the accident, I hurt the part of the brain that have negative thoughts. So I'm incapable of negative feelings. That was his diagnosis, but I don't know whether that's true. Okay. I think it's more of an experience when you come across, when you know that you are, there is no, I mean, when you are at the bottom, when you hit the bottom, then you know that there is an inner strength that gets you out. So yeah, it wasn't just an accident, but the accident made me realize how I have to live the rest of my life, the second life that was given to me. And in this picture, computer has played an important role. Okay, now I'm ready to talk about AI. Okay, no. Uh, uh, I rely heavily on speech recognition. And I think it was around 2007 and 8 Microsoft introduced speech recognition for the first time in Windows Vista. It was not perfect, but for me, that's what I had to use. And it provided me ability to do things that I could not do before. There are many speech recognition engines like Dragon, naturally speaking, and now when you use ChatGPT, Copilot, everything is uh, done by speech. Recently, uh, uh, I realized I can also do programming with speech, voice coding. This is a very fine example. This voice coding was not developed for people with disability myself. I'm a scientist. I can read, write natural languages, but to be a serious scientist, you have to be able to manipulate data, see the data yourself, or else you cannot go up to next level. So for me, always the problem was coding. And every time I code, I would pop up screen, keyboard, on screen keyboard, and press one letter. But when I found this, I was mesmerized because this guy, his name is Tevis Rudd. He is a professional software engineer. But he used his hand so much that he has a RSI, repetitive strain injury. So he cannot type very long. So he developed a system that, being a very capable engineer, he developed this very quickly. And he uses the system he developed to write code by voice. Now, I again mentioned that, stress that this was not meant for people with disability. He made this stuff for himself. And here's another guy from a Canadian programmer whom I get to know very well. His name is David William King. He also developed a system, completely different one, just for himself, because he cannot type more than 15 minutes a day, or he has a pain in his hand. So he developed the system, and if you look into YouTube, there are many similar systems, and uh, these weren't developed for people with disability. But I am using this, and now I can say that I become a better scientist. The only problem is now I'm too old. Getting old. Only my age, you know. So I tell people with disability that first, before that, uh, let me tell you something about disability. In Korea, we say that people with disability have three big issues. First is economic problem. People with disability usually are poor. Okay. Second, they have uh, trouble socially with finding their place in the society. The first is so-called economic problem. Second is societal problem. Third is dispute within family trouble. When you have people with disability, it's usually mother or other female who end up taking care of them. So their lives are not same as before. So they have to sacrifice. So I said that there are three major difficulties, but if that person with disability has a high paid job, then he can kind of mitigate all three problems. For instance, if they become like Microsoft MVP, they will have high salary, which they can overcome economic problem. And because not just economy, but they contribute to community and they have a important self-pride. They realize their presence in the society and they know that, I mean, for people with disability, job is more than just an economic reason. Goes beyond that. They find pride. And then third, they can use caregivers and put less burden on the family. So I've been arguing that it's not the tools like the mouse that I'm using or the computer. It's the job. It's the job. So when you have a job, then you need all these. You need a faster computer, better software, better tools. But without jobs, these are just a toy for some people. And so, how do you find a job for people with disability? Well, one thing is use voice coding, teach them voice coding, because they can do this at home and they can become highly paid and become professional. It takes training. I estimate about 2 years of intensive training, but after that, they can be really good and become a programmer and solve these issues, difficulties they face on their own. So I tell people, don't expect somebody, some AI to do something for you. Use AI effectively and do it yourself. Do it your DIY AI. Do it yourself AI, because with maybe Microsoft Copilot and things, programming may be much easier because for me, the difficulty is typing. But if I can use voice, I can type, I can do this programming thing much better. So I think this is one example of how you can really change the lives of people with disability. It's more like empowering self, empowering themselves, not just relying on something society or people around you will do for you, but doing things, trying to do things on your own. Okay. What was the question again? I forgot.
I was asking, AI nowadays is very software focused. There's like computer AI or coding AI, Copilot, like you were saying. But there are also other AIs that have been around for a while for like mechanical AI, like not unlike the devices that you
Yes.
use them, which has been around for a long time. So when you said can AI help people with disability, do you mean the software AI that's in the computer or like the physical AI that's in the other?
Yes, that's a very good question. I tend to, I mean, I'm a scientist, so I deal with data. And AI is basically teaching the machine to do, I mean, teaching, learning of the machine, which takes huge amount of data to teach something to a machine that we can do it so easily. Okay. So that's one of the reasons I think we should not trust AI too much, because AI is only good when you have sufficient data, not sufficient, a huge amount of data. So I tend to see AI as not taking our jobs and becoming a threat to humanity, but I don't think that's anyway close. It's just a tool to make our work faster and more efficient. I see that as, again, another way of computer helping people to do things. You know, computers have no free will, and they will never have, or else it's not computer. So we talk about as if sci-fi movie that computer will take over human, but I think that's too much imagination. As far as I can see, development of computer is something we should not be scared about, worried about. It's in sci-fi movie. In my view, whether you realize it or not, it's just another way of helping us. And so it's just a way of automating things. If you think of computer or AI as helping people, then whether it's hardware, software, whatever, that can, for instance, I use something like Alexa or Siri at home to turn off the air conditioning, or reply, or reply phone calls, make phone calls, things like that. So IoT, everything, because yeah, I mean, you need hardware, and then you need software to control that hardware. So I think it includes everything. Do you know how I move around? Uh, I use my head. There is a sensor behind my head, which is like a similar sensor that you use in the car when you rear off, when you go backwards, when you're close to an obstacle, it beeps. It's a similar mechanism, but depending on where I place my head, I can go left, right, forward, and things like that. And this wheelchair looks shabby because it's the one I custom made for myself. So it's the only one in the world. The airline would not take sturdy, heavy wheelchair that I normally use. So when I come to countries that are less accessible, I have to use my own invention. That's why, it looks somewhat uh, smooth. You have wires and things sticking out. It's a prototype. Okay. So yeah, I look forward to the days of better computer. I'm very appreciative of Microsoft. The reason is that uh, Microsoft has been around for a very long time. So, in my view, Microsoft has received a lot of criticism at the beginning and up to these days. So, they are very, they accommodate people with disability. When Microsoft develops something, they are very aware of these issues. On the other hand, some younger companies, maybe like Google, don't. And I asked my friend why. And my friend at Microsoft tell me Microsoft took a lot of beatings. So now they know how to do it right. So I don't know if this is a good thing for Microsoft or bad thing, but among all the IT companies, I find Microsoft most accommodating for people with disability.
Sang Mook
Yes.
Lee, yes. One student
Okay.
from Delhi office has a question, so it's
Okay,
very.
go ahead.
Hi, Professor. So I have a student of mine here. He is visually impaired and he wants to ask you a question. So now his name is Jay Prakash. So now I'm just handing it over to him.
Hello, sir. My name is Jay Prakash. I am from the Blind Relief Association and I am 100% visually impaired. And recently I passed 12th standard. So, sir, I want to know from you two things. First, sir, as you said that when you got injured, that was the turning point of your life. So, sir, every person has a turning point in their life. So, how can we recognize the turning point of our life? And second thing, sir, I want to know that as you told the problem of visually impaired person, that economical problem in India, there is also the same problem. So, sir, the computers, as you said, the computer is God gifted technology and the AI technologies, these are very expensive. And also the screen reader like JAWS or lots of screen reader, it's very expensive. So how the poor visually impaired person or how the villagers people can get it? And also the internet connectivity is not good in village, like, so how we can reach? Thank you, sir.
Very good three questions. Let me try to answer one by one. 물 좀 줘봐. For me, I had a turning point in my life. The person in Delhi is asking me how can they have turning point, and that's a very hard question, and I said it twice already. Don't try this at home. But for me, it came by chance and luck. I think I must have done something good in my past life. I must have saved the country or something like that, or this this good opportunity did not come to me. So that's all I can say. For me, I felt that this disability is a blessing in disguise in a way for me, because as a person, uh, let's say if I did not have disability, I would have led a good life, but I would not have understood the real deep meaning of life. And important lessons, I should not say that because I'm relatively privileged. So I don't have the right to say this, but sometimes these difficulty uh, makes you a better person and realize that uh, that I mean, yeah, realize what's important in life. So for me, I was very lucky. Second is I he asked me situation in India. Yes, I came to India to see uh, the situation. This is my second time in Mumbai. I came 20 years ago before I became disabled, and uh, 20 years later, I'm here as a person with disability. Uh, in Korea, we tend to consider United States as the example of country with uh, good benefits and to people with disability. Okay. Uh, because in my view, in United States, uh, because disability benefited from race issue. United States in the 60s and 70s had a really big political trouble, social trouble in terms of race issue. But once they settled on that, they used the same template to give equal opportunity to women. So first, they made a template, the issue. They had a big struggle, big social trouble, discussion, conflicts over race issue. I'm sure it's not yet solved, but still, that was a big turning point in the society. But they had to agree that we should not discriminate against race. At least that's what they agreed on. And then the second issue, after having solved that, in my view, they just replaced the word race with gender and gave equal right to women. And now that that is done, they started, they changed the gender to uh, disability. So when you are discriminated in US, you don't go to the Office of Disability, you go to the Office of Equal Right. Okay? Now, after disability, now they are focusing on sexual orientation. Okay? So in America, everything started from non-discrimination because United States is a multi-race, multicultural country. Okay, I don't know how this may help India, but in Korea, Koreans feel that we are one race, one country under one founder. So there is no multicultural racial issue. But disability issue in Korea has been resolved to an enormous degree. And I have a theory for this. I call it a good neighbor effect because Korea became economically prosperous in the last 20, 30 years. As you all know, and as a result, I think what happened is that, well, this is kind of a derogative way of expressing, but when people's stomach is full, they think of other people. Only when individual people, when their stomach is full, they think of other people. So, in my view, the disability issue in India may get better with the economic prosperity of India. So if Indian economy grows and gets better, so will people with disability situation in India. So I'm not sure that's the answer that you wanted, but that's I think that's a long-term perspective. But it happened in Korea. In Korea, people become aware of people with disability, and we have many parking spots, line special things, because I think it took what's important is change of minds of people, and people only would change when their stomach is full. Then they think of others. This is my theory. It may be wrong, but that's what I believe. What was the third question again? Oh, yeah.
So I have only two questions, sir. Another thing I want to know, sir, like internet is not reachable in village areas. So how we can connect?
Okay. India is a vast country. So I'm sure even when I am in cities like Mumbai and Delhi, internet is good, but it may not be good in the outskirts. And I think that can become better with Indians' economic prosperity. You should bypass China. You should bypass China. But it will take time, but I think India is on the uprise, and so I don't know when, but things in India will get better. That's my view. Maybe 10 years later, when I come here, I would see a different India. So, well, I tell you one example. In every country, there is number of registered people with disability. People disability that have declared themselves as disability and was approved by Department of Health or something. This number. In Indonesia, it's 1% of the population. In Korea, it's 5%. In United States, it's 12%. Maybe in countries like Scandinavia, in Sweden, it may be over 20%. You know why? Because not that there is an increasing number of people with disability as the countries become more prosper, but in Indonesia, even you declare yourself as a person with disability, you don't get any benefit. Okay. Whereas in developed country, people, if you declare yourself as person with disability, it's not a stigma, and so people are more willing to declare their disability and get benefit. And so what that means is that as the society becomes economically prosperous, then attention is inevitably given to people with disability. I think there is a clear correlation between two things. So, yes. Well, that's my view. You don't have to take that because I know, yeah, that's my armchair view, maybe. What I have focused on, I think, is, for me, the biggest important thing is job. And to get a good job, you need education. So, for me, education leading to job is the most important thing because you have to empower people with disability to get to open opportunity for them to land that high-paying job. And job is not just for economic reason, it's your sense of belongingness to the society. It's your identity. And also, it'll alleviate a lot of stress on the family as well. So I tell people it's not the AI, ChatGPT, Copilot. No, it's the job. When you have an opportunity to get job, then you have to compete with others and you would inevitably become good at all these technical tools. But right now, without job, it's a fancy toy. Unfortunately, well, that's good in theory, but how can we really do this? There are many obstacles. One big obstacle is everybody is somewhat different. If you say people with disability, but everybody is slightly different. So you will never make a killer app that will help everybody. So that means that there is no mass market. Okay. So that is one of the reasons why people do not make special devices to help people with disability. Because in order for us to benefit, the business has to be good. And how can you help a business, that's the role of the government. If you cannot leave it to the private sector, if there is something that would make money, then business will start no matter what you do. But this is an area and responsibility of the government. Government must provide tax breaks and incentive for those companies making technology and devices for people with disability. And this is tax breaks and incentive. And this is the role of the government. Government must do this because everybody, all the devices are a little bit different and the needs are different. So there is no one machine or one item that'll make big money, usually. I hope that was a right. I mean, that was answer to your question. So I think, yeah, job, assist device, promotion by government. Because if you leave it to the private sector, in United States or in Europe, government purchases a lot of assistive devices with taxpayers' money and distributes to the people. One of the reasons, in my view, this is my personal view, is that America has waged war ever since. So in America, you must treat person who has injured themselves in this conflicts as a hero. And so in America, there is a basic amount of money being spent on people who got hurt. And that's a sad story, but true, that they provide a basic industry. But I think the better way is becoming people agreeing because of economic prosperity. Luckily, I think India is on the rise. Okay, that's, I think. What else should I? Yeah, any more questions? Yeah.
Is there any more questions from here?
Yeah, I just hope Microsoft do not change operating system too much, because when there is a big operating system change, the software that I use that help me usually goes broke, and I'm really against the next operating system.
Okay,
This-
I will definitely ask our product group to consider your suggestion. Then I think we don't have a question right now, but I think there will be some questions later on. And
Okay.
thank you Sang Mook Lee. And then let's just have a quick break so that students and people on site can go to the bathroom and some quick
Yes.
break. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, and then let's continue on the next session.
Okay. Yeah.
Is it good? Sounds good, Nabika and
Sure.
Akshit? Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. A big applause to Sang Mook Lee, who gave a really good, inspiring stories for all of us to, consider for our better life. And then also like we have to, with technology can support and help our people in with disabilities. And thanks Navika and Kassam. All right, let's have a quick break.